The Water Minister says the Auditor General's Department's recent performance audit of the National Water Commission must be weighed against the shocks the utility faced over the period under review. In a statement on Wednesday, the Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says while the government acknowledged the report, more has been spent on the country's infrastructure over the past 5 years than in the previous 40. Dana Davey tells us more.
The audit of the National Water Commission (NWC) was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday by Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis. It found the Commission repeatedly spent less than it budgeted on water infrastructure, failed to submit audited financial statements for 4 straight years, and got poor value from a costly new financial management system. Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says those institutional weaknesses have to be corrected and confirmed the Commission had accepted all of the report's recommendations. But he argues that the findings could not be read in isolation. The statement points to the COVID-19 pandemic, which it says disrupted contractor workforces and global supply chains, pushing up costs and forcing changes to several projects. It also cites severe drought, rising energy and shipping costs, and a fall in tourism that cut water sales to a key commercial customer base. The government says the corrective work was already underway and predated the audit's publication. It outlines that regional master development plans were being drawn up to guide which projects come first, that the Commission's purchasing unit had been told to build price adjustment clauses into contracts, and that the Finance Division had committed to clearing the backlog of outstanding statements. Minister Samuda is also defending the wider record. He says more has been spent on the country's infrastructure over the past 5 years than in the previous 40. The statement further notes that the audit itself found that about 70% of the NWC's infrastructure was more than 40 years old. It says this is the result of decades of underinvestment. The government frames the audit not as an end point, but as a roadmap for strengthening the water sector and pledges to keep monitoring the corrective measures alongside the Commission's board and management. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Verified beneficiaries of the government's Modular Housing Solution Program are to receive grants to help them prepare the foundation for the container units. That's according to Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlement, Robert Montague.
We want to make sure the units are properly put down on a proper base to make sure we have access, because depending on the land, the side, some persons have hillside, we have to dig it down. You may have to build some steps after you put down the base for persons to access. It may have to be a ramp because persons may be disabled. So there are a host of factors, but right now we have the verification of the beneficiaries have been cleared, and the ministry is in the process of determining who have a bank account and who does not have a bank account to begin the transfer. I believe the transfer would have started yesterday to some beneficiaries into their account. Some beneficiaries have asked that the funds go to a specific hardware. There are processes in government that we still have to go through to ensure that when you send the money, it is used for the right purpose.
Minister Montague says up to Tuesday, June 9, 2,100 beneficiaries had been verified. Another 400 people are going through the process. Each beneficiary is to receive the standard design for the foundation. Meanwhile, Minister Montague reiterated that the National Housing Trust has committed to purchasing 2,500 units. So far, he says, 1,424 of those solutions have been acquired and are on the island. He says the bulk of the units are in Western Jamaica in the custody of the Jamaica Defense Force. Montague says the necessary regulatory processes are being finalized for the units to be distributed.
I would want to put them up from yesterday, but there are certain government processes. We must tick certain boxes. It's just the way things are. It's the arrangement we have as a country. And if I ever go ahead without going through the government regulatory process, I'm going to be audited. You're going to hear all kind of scandal break on me that we do this and we never do that. So, for example, we have now just signed up on what we call GeoConnect. It's a memorandum of understanding between this ministry and other ministries and departments and other government agencies for sharing of data, because when the Ministry of Labour goes out and certifies, they can't just share the data with another entity. They will be breaching the Data Protection Act. So we have to make sure we tick these boxes.
Robert Montague, Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlement. The government's phased process to increase the private asset limit for Jamaican pension funds from 5% to 7.5% is on track to take effect on July 1. Finance Minister Favour Williams gave the update at the weekly post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday.
I'm pleased to report significant progress on the regulatory reforms that I announced in my budget speech to mobilize long-term local capital for productive investments. Our objective is clear: unlock patient, long-dated resources while preserving financial stability. On pensions, we will proceed with the first phase to relax private asset limits from 5% to 7.5% on July 1, 2026.
Favour Williams, Finance Minister. She first announced the measure during her budget presentation in March. This initial increase to 7.5% is expected to unlock an estimated $21.2 billion in long-term capital for local private companies and infrastructure financing. A further increase to 10% is to come on stream by April 2027. And the Finance Minister says a claim that it's illegal to carry cash in excess of 100,000 Jamaican dollars when entering the island is false. She made the comment at the weekly post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday. The minister was responding to a social media video featuring a woman dressed as an attorney.
I'm just coming from the Ministry of Finance, and I am here because I came to collect money that was seized at the airport by the customs officer. I want you to know that if you are coming into Jamaica and you have cash, which when it is worked out, it is equivalent to 100,000 Jamaican dollars. The customs officer is empowered to seize your cash in whatever currency it is.
But Minister Williams says it's misinformation.
That information on social media from someone who purports to be a lawyer is incorrect. Persons traveling to Jamaica can bring cash in excess of 100,000 Jamaican dollars. You have to declare if you are bringing in US 10,000 or the equivalent. You have to declare it on your Enter Jamaica electronic form. If we're saying to you, coming into Jamaica, you can declare if you have US 10,000 or higher or equivalent, then we're also saying to you, you could bring in less than US $10,000 without declaring it.
Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. The Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, has also rejected the claim by the woman in the video. In a post on social media, the agency says that traveling with $100,000 is perfectly legal. However, it notes that 10,000 US dollars or its equivalent in any currency has to be declared upon entry or departure. The JCA says under the Proceeds of Crime Act, customs officers may seize any amount of cash if there is reasonable suspicion it is linked to unlawful conduct and or criminal activity. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation has increased its allocation to the council members by $3 million. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, made the announcement during the KSAMC's monthly meeting on Tuesday.
I am pleased to advise that the KSAMC will be increasing the divisional allocation fund from $10 million to $30 million for each division and to 13.5 for rural divisions. This increase was approved by the Finance Committee following careful consideration and reflects the Council's continued commitment to strengthening service delivery at the community level. This adjustment is particularly significant as it advanced the position that I have long supported, and I advocated for increased allocation to divisions to better equip councillors to address the needs of their constituents.
Mayor Swaby says that the increases are necessary even as the corporation pays down debt.
While the administration was committed to increasing the DAF, it was necessary to exercise strict fiscal restraint as we work to address outstanding debts inherited from the previous administration, while simultaneously meeting current financial obligations. The increase in the DAF reflects our commitment to strengthen the capacity of councillors to undertake priority projects and respond more effectively to the needs and concerns of communities. It covers road repairs, the monthly program, Labor Day allocation, the mitigation program, employment generation, and emergency fund.
Andrew Swaby, Mayor of Kingston. Meanwhile, Mayor Swaby says the current administration of KSAMC is steadily improving the corporation's financial status.
One of the challenges we continue to face is to clear the over $205 million in retention payment owed to contractors for work already completed. This amount includes $164 million which this administration inherited. Nevertheless, through prudent financial management, disciplined expenditure controls, and a deliberate program of fiscal recovery, the Council is steadily improving its financial position.
Andrew Swaby, Mayor of Kingston. And in international news, well, just before the item of international news, a businessman has been charged with concealing more than $200,000 at Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. He's identified as a 34-year-old Sean Walker from Crawford District in St. Elizabeth. It's reported that Walker arrived on the island on Sunday on a United Airlines flight from New Jersey. During routine customs control activities, abnormalities were detected in his luggage, leading to further checks. The search revealed a large quantity of U.S. currency concealed in 28 sealed boxes of bath soap. The cash found amounted to $270,580 or more than 42 million Jamaican dollars. Documents produced by Walker reportedly could not sufficiently prove that he legally obtained the cash. He was subsequently arrested and charged with breaching the Proceeds of Crime Act. He's set to appear before the St. James Parish Court on June 16.